And I said, well, I want this car turned on. I've got to get to church, and the car ain't turning on. But the next time I pushed the button, and I said, let me just try to put it in gear. And I put it in gear, and the car began to go. I was waiting on a sound, but the car was already on. Sometimes you're waiting on a sound, but the power is already happening. You're looking for God to come in a certain way. You're looking for a sound, but God said, I'm already here. You've been looking for me, but you're trying to box me in to your experience, but I'm already present. Look at somebody and say, God is already present. Come on, find somebody else and say, God is right there where you are. You might not be able to see him. You might not be able to hear him, but we serve an omnipresent God. He is the God that was already there. He's the reason why you didn't lose your mind. He's the reason why it wasn't worse. He's the reason why you're still here. You might can't see him, but God is already there. Yes, Lord. And so the Bible said that Jesus talked back to Martha and said, don't you know who I am? You were in my presence, but while you were in my presence, you did not take time to get to know who I really am. How many times are we in the presence of God and God is trying to reveal himself to us, but we're so caught up in ourselves and what we've got going on until we don't take time to understand the essence of the power of God and to understand the essence of the manifestation of the real presence of God. That's why when you come to the church, the house of God, you should not allow the devil to distract you and drive you away from connecting in worship. I didn't come to find out what the praise team was singing. I didn't come to find out what you had on, but I came to get in the presence of God and to join my faith with the faith of my sisters and brothers and involve myself in corporate worship and believe that if we could create an atmosphere in here that God would abide in the midst of our praise. And while God is in the midst of our praise, he will manifest his power and show us signs and wonders, and he will perform miracles, healing, breakthrough, and deliverance. I came because I needed something from God. I came because I needed a touch from God. I came because I needed God to deliver my spirit. I needed God to deliver my soul. I needed God to do something on the inside of me. When the worship was going on this morning, I lifted my hand and I began to feel the presence of God. I began to hear God whispering in my ear and said, I'm God and I change not. I am the Lord your God and I got your back. I began to hear the presence of the Lord speaking to me and said, while you praise me, I'm working a miracle. I began to hear the presence of God speaking to me and saying, just get in my face and just experience my glory. I began to see the holiness of God. I began to see the righteousness of God. I began to say, God, woe is me. I began to say, God, forgive me for doubting you. God, forgive me for lacking in my faith. God, forgive me for walking in carnality. God, forgive me for having a contrary mind. God, forgive me. I want to see your glory. I want to see your power. I want to feel your presence. Is there anybody here that wants to experience the glory of God? Is there anybody here that wants to experience the power of God? Lift your hands all over the building. Open up your mouth and say, Lord, show us your glory. Show us your glory. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and I am the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Do you believe it? Look at somebody and say, do you believe it? Do you believe it? He said, I am the resurrection and the life. If you believe in me, My God, though you were dead, you shall live. He said, my. He said, take me where you laid him. Every now and then, you got to take Jesus into the place where your dead situation is. And the Bible said, Jesus said, roll the stone away. And the Bible said that the sister said, well, he's been dead 4 days and he's already stinking. He can't take the stone away. But look at somebody.